All right. It is Friday, June 11th, 2021. It's 5:15 a.m. I'm on my way to the gym. I invested into not a regular whiteboard. They're pretty nice. They're designer whiteboards. It's glass with a metal backing. It's frosted. And it's heavy. Excuse me. And we installed it a couple days ago in my new office. It's big. It's about 6 feet. I wanted a big one. It's about 6 feet by 4 feet. And it's replacing my regular 3 foot by 4 foot dry eraser board. And on these boards, I keep track of my business. I keep track of my clients. I keep track of my leads. I keep track of my referrals. I keep track of people who are pre-qualified. I also keep track of how much volume I've sold. I mean, and what's the amount of money I've sold in real estate. I keep track of what's the number of units that I sold in real estate. I keep track of what is everything that I have going on year to date. And then right in the middle of this big, huge, beautiful board. Matter of fact, my mom was in there yesterday. I seen her in there. I said, what's going on? She said, I was just looking at your board. This thing is really nice. So at the top of that big, nice board is a number. That number signifies the volume that I set at the beginning of the year. I'm sorry, I set this goal in December of last year. I reached out to AZ and I said, this is my number for 2021. We're in a pandemic. Don't know what's going to happen. God gave me this number. The number's $15 million in volume. $15 million in volume. Put you at the top 1% in the country of real estate transactions. Top 1%. When I did my Ironman is considered one of the top 1%. I mean, it's very rare that if you don't do Ironmans and you're not in that arena, that you're just going to have somebody that you know that's like, yeah, I've competed. Yeah. It's rare. It's not impossible. $15 million is at the top of that board. And right next to it is how much I've done so far. When I look at that board, the first impression that you would get is that I'm behind. It's mid-year, June, which means you should be 7.5 million into a $15 million goal. if you looked at that board and you weren't at 7.5 million by June, it's safe to say that you wouldn't be able to make that goal of 15 million. And I can look at it and I can be real hard on myself and say, I failed. And so often, even though we've made progress, because even at the midway point that I am right now, if I double that, meaning if I create the same production, God is good. I just got it. Damn. If I create the same production for the second half of this year, I will do better than I would have ever done. See, 15 million is almost a little bit over double what I would have ever produced in any given year in real estate. But if I look at it and I say, I don't have the 15 million. I don't have the 15 million and it's mid-year. I'm not even halfway and it's mid-year. It's easy. It is. It would be very easy to be hard on myself and say, I failed. And I guarantee most of the time when people don't hit their target, they say they failed. They say they tried, but they say they failed. I tried, but I failed. I tried, but I failed. But let me explain something else. I fully funded a 6-month reserve account. Fully funded. 6 months of reserves. I refinanced my house. Saved myself an additional $200+ a month on my mortgage payment. I invested into the best therapy for my body that a person could receive. I lost 20 pounds. I gained lean muscle. My body looks better than it ever had. And my wife too. I fully funded a dream vacation for my family. Paid for. We call it our mid-year break so that we can get away, come back refreshed, refocused, recommitted. So if I failed to hit my goal, then what do you call the things that I did do? See, it's perspective. We fall short all the time. We fall short daily. I mean, we fall short daily. but you have an option. Considering that I fell short of failure doesn't motivate me. And not taking account of my wins lets me know I'm still in the game. See, as long as I'm still shooting the ball, I got a chance to stay in the game. I'm not giving up on my 15 million. I'm just saying that if I duplicate what I've already done, I would have still had my best year in real estate year to date. But I'm not giving up on 15 million because it's possible. Because walls aren't built 50 bricks at a time. They're built one brick at a time. And a perfect wall is built one perfect laid brick at a time. I'm just simply every day trying to lay a perfect brick. And I have an account that's fully funded with 6 months of reserves, if not more. I have a fully paid for vacation. I've taken everything out of my house that was at a monthly expense, and I invested in paying for the things that I needed in my home. So I no longer have revolving bills. So even though it might not be 15 million, it might not be 15 million, it might not. I don't know. It might not. There's a whole hell of a lot of progress in there. We even did our will. Invested into the best medical treatment to make sure that we're ready to go for the fight. To make sure that we're ready to get after it. You can see things one or two ways. You can see it as I lost or I'm still trying. But if you really look at your footsteps through this journey called life, you've made progress. You've made progress. And that's something that you should damn well be proud of. Because you ain't where you used to be. You ain't where you want to be, but you ain't where you used to be. And you know that. You know that. Even if you've made a decision that you're just going to stop eating a certain kind of way, and you've been working on that, you already better. It's the moment you start having a mind shift, you already better. You can already start celebrating the moment you have a mind shift that something needs to change. That seed is planted, you already won. What I'm trying to tell you is I could have very well, looking at that board this morning, because these were all thoughts from this morning, I could have looked at that board and said, I'm down, I'm behind, had I not reminded myself of all the things that I have accomplished. And that even if I come up short, my short will still be better than my best. Now that's a hell of an accomplishment, even when your short is better than your best. That's a word that will preach to you by itself.